Okay, well, it looks like we're all here, so we'll do the best we can with the content that we have already. Okay, so good morning and welcome to what was going to be the first of 3 sessions, but we have a bit of an unavoidable situation with our enterprise member who was going to be doing the enterprise session later on this afternoon. So I'll be picking this up next Tuesday. We'll leave it at the same time, so you should already have been sent re-invitations to that. So what we'll be doing this morning is I'll do a bit of a session on an overview of OneSource, not just the particular design section that we go into, but including sales and engineering as well, and the contracts elements of it, so you can see where they all are. My colleague Richard will be taking you through the IP Office and mid-market sections, so he'll be going into a lot of detail on those two a bit later on. I think that's at 11:30, so anybody who wants to rejoin, join for that one. Or if you're doing a combination of mid-market and enterprise, then obviously probably all three are going to be where you need to be. Whoever's typing, can you stop doing that? It's a bit loud. Okay, right. So so first of all, what I'll do is let me just shut this web page down at this stage. Well, not actually all of it, just the Avaya section, and you can see how we actually get into it. So at the top here, I just type in avaya.com, but the connection method you will use is the avaya.com/ebizu. If I have lots of our OneSource instances, the North America one, for example, the one in the US is ebizn, but U is the one you will dial into for the UK and Ireland and EMEA area. So when you log into that, it will then bring up your single sign-on credentials, and obviously I was already signed in, but that will then bring up a username and password section. And when you connect to our OneSource, it will bring you into this landing page. Now, the first thing to note is on this left-hand side, you'll see the word company. Treat this like an internet bank account. There's somebody saying they can't hear anything. Steve, do we have sound? Oh, yeah, okay. Yes, we can. So I'll continue onwards. So on the left-hand side, down at the bottom there, you'll see the bank account details of Westcon UK and Ireland, that is. And if I do change on this, you'll see that I've got access to quite a few areas within the Britain region and also quite a few areas within the EMEA region. So you need to make sure that when you do this, that you're in the Westcon Convergence UK section to get your pricing, because that's where all our pricing and discounts are achieved. If you are on your own one, like Azure or Vodafone or whatever, you'll see your own accounts there as well. You can still do your own designs, but then that will just give you a pure Avaya US dollar account, not the UK based ones. So that would be the first instance where to go to. So going across the top, you'll see that there are lots of different tabs that do lots and lots of different things, and I'll talk about those later, but I just want to concentrate on these few things down the bottom. First of all, now this is changed in the February release of OneSource, so this is Avaya's beginning to tweak and get rid of things that we don't need. So you'll see on this also that I'm going to start on the left-hand side. There are 4 tabs on that, which is an overview to Avaya OneSource, and I'll take you through that in a second. This will then take you through to the Avaya website, when you'll see that there's an overview and also the tools and registration and all the rest of it. The registration is quite a key thing. If you have colleagues that don't have access to Avaya OneSource, then they will need to go through this registration process first, and you'll see the documentation for that at the top. Also, depending on your Internet Explorer version, your browser settings might need changing, depending on which business partner you are, so which source you're supposed to be using, then this is where you do those particular settings. Now, What I'm also going to do is go on to the next one, subscribe to email notifications. This one's quite cool in so much that if something does change, then you can choose what it is from the list and then subscribe to those notifications. So if everything does change, then Avaya will then notify you of what it is that has changed. Your Avaya configuration, home, your price books, and all the rest of it. So if we go back to the landing site, Avaya pricing model. Now we know what APL is. It's from a design point of view, but some people want to go into that and have a look exactly what the Avaya pricing model is and how it works. So you'll see that there again, there's an Avaya pricing model overview, and that will take you through all those bullet points to be able to do that. So I'm just going back to the landing page again. Now, the ASBI doesn't actually do anything from my point of view. I suspect this is probably something on the Avaya front. When you get to it, if you log on, it will then come up with it. You can't sign on to this particular bit. So it must be for Avaya internal staff only. So I'm just going to go back to the main landing site again. I'll just wait for that to update. There we go. Okay, and the other tab you'll see is the support tab on the right hand side of the screen. Now, unfortunately, we tend to do this quite a lot. This is how you raise a ticket. So if something in Avaya OneSource is not playing ball or not working, then this is how you raise a ticket. You can actually call them at the bottom section here if you want to. Most people, though, just do it with the top section. So you click on the very top bit, Avaya.com partners ITSS, and it will then take you into the login of a ticket creation. I'm just going to wait for that to appear on the screen. There it is. And then we select the report and incident section in the middle. I won't actually submit this, but I'll take you through what it is. So it's got all my details at the top, and then what is the impacted service? Now, obviously, we're using Avaya OneSource, but before that, it was called Enterprise Configurator. And I select that from my list. And then obviously I'll just fill in the details. I can also at the bottom here add files. Sometimes I do that, screenshots, which help out some of the people that are dealing with any particular requests or examples. So then I can save indications to a Word document and attach that, and away we go, and then submit. What that will then do is generate an email to your inbox to say that a ticket has been raised, and then obviously Avaya should be dealing with it. So I'll just close these two down. Several open now. Okay, so I'll just wait for that to reappear. So that is the ones on the left-hand side in the box, and how to raise a ticket on the right-hand side. We've also looked at making sure we're in the right account in order to be able to see our pricing. We do get quite a lot of inquiries about that. I can't see pricing. It's typically because they're in the wrong account. And then we have the tabs at the top. So the first one is the PRM partner view, or Salesforce.com as we know it. So this is mostly for sales. I'll just click on that and you can see what it is. So view training, schedule reports, MDF, your marketing fund, and creating leads. So this is typically a sales type view of communication they will have with Avaya. And on the left hand side you'll see all the selections you pick and choose. I can click here as well. I'll do that. This is, as you can see, it takes you to the Salesforce.com. You select yes on that, and then eventually it will take you through to even more training as well in terms of how to administer and get hold of this stuff in the first place. So that's the PRM bit. So carrying on with the sales team. Steve, are you able to mute people on the bridge? Yeah. Okay, so just carrying on with the sales theme is the proposal section. Now, what we look at is the proposal suite. Now, I've done this in the past, but have a look at this one. This is quite good. So first of all, we say OK to it, all the terms and conditions and so on. And then up will pop the proposal suite. Now, as you can see on the right-hand side, I've already achieved some designs already, proposal suite and so on.
All participants are now muted.
What's involved in this? So if we have a look at, I want a proposal suite for IP Office, then I select the IP Office bit. I'll just do one for Select English. I'll create a name ABC and then do create. And then you can see that QVideon itself, it will then go through all these particular applications. And when I filled in all this stuff in the middle, it will then, I can then build it and it will then produce either a Word or a PDF document about all the things I've chosen. So for example, I'll just pick the UC infrastructure, and you will then see that everything has changed, and I can select from that list what it is I'm quoting on. So again, this is primarily aimed at sales, but you know, you might find this quite useful in so much they can collect, you know, tick on Search Manager and it'll then give them a write-up of what that is. So what I'll do is I'll show you one that I've created earlier. So this is a bit like Blue Peter. So this is my Scopia proposal one. So I can use the same one over and over again. I can have a look at the build on that. It's already got a green blob on it, so it is configured already. If I click on it again, how do you want this saved? And then build it. So it will go off and build that design. So what I'm going to do is I'll just take you through one that I've done before. When it comes up in a second, there it is. So this is the one for ABC, and as you can see on this screen, I'll just go down, there's a bit of writing on that front, and then it goes through all the items that I've ticked. So all the different room systems and the MCUs, and you go a bit further down, executive summary, and there's pretty pictures beginning to appear now, and some words about how good Avaya are and where it all sits. And if you go a bit further down, there is the Scopia solution. I'll just bring that on the screen, sorry, it's a bit different on my size. But again, in the middle of the screen, you can see how that is. Now, it's 70-odd pages long, this one, but again, you can edit and change it and then put your quotation at the end of it. So I'll be doing a quick Scopia design for you in a second, and you'll be able to see that. But again, this particular tool is actually quite useful. So let me just go back to this particular screen again. So that's how you do it. So as you can see on my home bit, I've got quite a few. I did want to bring your attention to something else. RFPs. There's an RFP critical tender list, a load of questions and answers. Might be quite useful for those as well going forward. So that's the QVideon, the proposal suite. I'll just bring this offline for a second. There we go, back on. Now, under the proposals, there are some other elements like PM tools, project management. Now, obviously, project managers as such. So again, you choose the PM tool. So this will be top left-hand side. You can see that this hasn't been fully designed yet, but it's getting there. So PM tool, and obviously to register, create a new Avaya user account, and away you go. That's if I was in a project management role, and then obviously that will then take you into other items that you can do. So I'll just go back to the landing page again. Unfortunately, there are one or two errors in this as well. The customer gallery, for example, if you click on that, it does take you to a website where you can say, yes, I want to get to it, and then you get this page cannot be displayed bit. But yeah, we're getting there, I suppose, is the answer to that. So similar with the APS offer sheets as well. If you click on that via professional services, the offer sheets that should go with it, then you get a Salesforce.com error. So there are things that need a bit of tweaking. Some of you will see orders. You won't see order center on there, but things like searching end customers you should have access to. Things like credits are kind of unique to distribution, so we have those. Licenses I'll get to in a second. And then administration is where I administer all your discount values, and also your FX rates once a month. We change all those too. That's where we administer those. So you'll see a few items on this list which don't affect your general operation. So if we go back to licensing, now this is probably mostly aimed at engineering, or maybe aimed at some pre-sales elements within your roles. I mean, some of you might be doing like GRT registration, which is an engineering function at the bottom, but just above that you have something called a CAT tool, customer authorization tool. Some of you have used that in the past. If you're trying to take a contract on from somebody else, then that end user will have to say, right, I grant you access. They use this CAT tool to be able to do that. If you click on the CAT tool, it does take you to the SWAT website, and then it takes you through the signature request elements and then into the CAT tool itself. If I just pop back to the licensing, the GR tool, Global Registration Tool, is where engineers go to be able to register the endpoints, the gateways, and all the rest of it that they have as well. If I just pop back again, you'll see you've got ADI, which is where you administer all the IP office stuff, which is, I believe, is either now or just about to go down the PLDS road. So this takes you to the PLDS screen and the RFA activation screen, and the KRS for all the blue products as well. Or you can do this by product. Yes, I can hear people.
People on the lead.
Okay, so by product, so again, you can select Communication Manager and its associated applications, and in the same way that you have a PLDS option, this takes you straight to the PLDS screen.
That's quite prestigious.
If I then go back into licensing again, just one second there.
As well. Yeah.
Steve, can you...
Yeah.
All participants are now muted.
Yes, you know.
Trying to mute people. Okay, thank you. Right, okay, so again by product, this will take you to the PLDS side. If you do CS1K and its associated applications, it will then take you to the KRS element of it. I'll just go back into that again. CS1K will take you back into the key code retrieval system. So, you know, similar things for different applications. Now, there is something I want to talk to you about. SMT tool. So I'll just get my notes on this because it's just changed, because this is fairly recent. It's only appeared in the last month. So the SMT tool stands for Software Management Tool. So this provides, or will provide, and does now, I suppose, to a degree, provides a single reporting capability for all licenses that are in PLDS, and RFA, and KRS, as well as the support services contract. Now, at the moment, the support services contract, which are under design, called CSQT, which is the replacement for the MPA tool. So SMTP is the SMT tool is going to be the way forward for creating lots of different accounts. Now, unfortunately, it brings you into the network management side of it. So let me kind of explain where that is. So the network is, for example, let's take IBM as a company. And then, so that would be the network itself. And then underneath that, you'll have regions like an APAC region or an EMEA region. And then underneath that, you'll have some Nortel stuff. They might have some IP Office stuff. They might have some CM, and they might have, and then obviously they'll have contracts and they'll have licenses and all the rest of it. So from a network topology, then you'll be picking and choosing who it is you want to have a look at. Now, obviously, as a new starter, you're not going to have any networks at all. So you're probably going to be looking at the left-hand side here and going to either the third icon down or the fourth icon down, typically. So I'm going to just show you some of these. It shows me my login of my contracts field for this, and there's some contracts in whoever I happen to look after, and I can have a look at those contract details. It will then show me I'll just get off of UK because you don't want to see any of that. Oh, they're all the UK ones. Well, never mind. We'll leave it at the top. Or you might want to go into locations itself, which is where your FL numbers are. So we'll just wait for that to appear. So again, this is the locations side of things and the install base record. Now it's a bit difficult for Westcon to be able to look at this because it is really relevant in so much that I can see an end user, I can see a business partner, and I can see that anything that Westcon have supplied. What I can't see is where other distributors have supplied items as well. So I might only have half the story, whereas you guys obviously will have all of it. So the SMT tool is probably quite useful. So design quote is the section that we're going to spend most of our time in this morning, sorry, not this afternoon. So the CSQT tool, we'll just get rid of that section at the minute. So this is where all the contracts live. So starting in February, so this month, Avaya OneSource, the renewals tool, formerly replaces MSQT and MPA, which is where the tools that we use for the heritage Avaya contracts. So this is the one going forward. And this is the area where you'll have a look at for just contracts. The SMT tool that we had a look at will give you slightly more grainier feel as an overall tool. But this one is just contracts. The SMT tool is probably going to be the kiddie on the block because that will include all the licenses, PLDS, RFA information from all sources, not just from the two renewals tools. Okay, now I just want to bring up something else, which is the Avaya support tool before we go into the design element. So the support advantage locator is basically a map. And now what this will do is this will then allow you to find out what parts are available in what areas. So I'm going to put this to United Kingdom, and then I'll do somewhere near me. There's a high street in just about every town. In Swindon, where I live, and you can see when I hit return on this, it will then say, okay, there it is in terms of a map, and in terms of parts and on site, this is what's available in that particular area. It's probably quite useful to do this because things like Switzerland, we'll do one Geneva, and then do return on that. It will take you to Geneva, the town, but as you can see down there, 8x5x4 in terms of parts and 24x7x4 is not available, but on-site engineers are. So if you got 2 or 3 locations or more, you need to have all the addresses if possible, so that you can put into this particular tool the actual maps and diagrams to be able to see what parts and support you can achieve on those. So back to the landing page again, under the design quote tool. One other thing, search end customers. This is where we go to create FL numbers in the first place. Now obviously if you have one already and you're just adding to that, you can create a new one. Sorry, you can add to it or create a new one, and you can see that I'm creating a new one here, so it needs to know where it is, who it is, and all the details to go with it. This is instantaneous, right? So that when you do this, things appear straight away, in which case then you can add and move and change licenses. So I'll just go back to the landing page again. Request design assistance on the second one down. This is you asking ATAC, the design center there, to be able to provide a design for you, and you'll see if you click on that, you'll have lots of names and diagrams and things you have to fill in and send it across. There's also 2 other tabs which are useful there. Avaya OneSource networking is actually data networking. This is a wizard tool, and Westcon, I believe, are looking into providing something on that front. It's a wizard tool rather than just, you know, I want 3 of these, 4 of those. And then Pro Services now, I'll just click on this particular tab that you can see at the minute. So if your job role also includes designing quotations, you'll see that it takes you into the quotations screen. There is a bit of a splash screen on new stuff as well. And then again, it takes you into the PSN quote in its entirety. Okay, so what I'll do, let me just shut some of these tabs down. And it takes me back to the actual bit why we're here, which is the design section of it. So, what I'm going to do, because Andrew's, Rich and Andrew are going to be doing the IP Officer mid-market and OneSource bit, and the enterprise elements of it, I'll do a quick design with the regard Scopia. So we'll just put one of those in, and then we'll apply a promotion to that, and then we'll look at how the promotion gives you discount as well, in terms of what that looks like on the screen. So hopefully that will take us all the way through from beginning to end. So rather than just take me to my retrieve ID and by an EGB number itself, or retrieve by all criteria, which is searching on designs that I've done either last week or whatever, so date orientated, I can pick and choose that, or colleague orientated. And then later on, Richard will be taking you through the managed solution blueprints section of IP Office. But in this stage, I'm just going to do a brand new design, and I'll just put a couple of units in there. It won't take me very long at all. Some of that is blue, and you can see that I'm just going into the message conferencing section and then select the Scopia from that list. And now, a lot of this are the items you'll see, and I'm skipping straight past because a lot of this is blue related. We don't need that in terms of a quotation. So this is going to be a brand new instance. So I select a new system and wait. I select on the right hand side my video collaboration, and then I go to the left hand side down the bottom via video collaboration, and you can see that there are now 6 tabs. So desktop room systems, yeah, I want some of those. I'll just put in a 4300, one of those, and then I'll go to gateways. Oh no, actually I won't do that, I'll do it at MCU itself. 6105, well I've one of them, and some licensing to go with it. There's my license package, and that's me done, do I think. So I configure the design, and then I can see what I've done. So this is auto attach, which is going to be putting in parts as well. Now obviously, because we're based in the UK or EMEA, we can say no, I don't want any parts, and the tool will try in default to give you some. I select none, or again I can choose, once I've been on, you know, depending on where it is, I can select what available parts coverage I happen to have, but I'm going to select none, and then design it, and away you go. And then it will go through Location Manager. So at the top there, I can create multiple names if I've got multiple sites, multiple 1X Scopia designs for multiple locations, and the maintenance. Now I can see that at the top there, our top 2 items, they're my 6105. I've got a 4300 endpoint. I've got some licensing to go with it. And it's doing this based on 3 years preferred support. I've got essential support on this, so there's something not quite right there. It's giving me preferred for the 6105, but this is 6105 as well. But also it's giving me essential support on that and for the endpoint, and it's doing it over 3 years. So let me go back into this because I want to tidy this up, all right? So I want to make it 12 months and essential. So let's have a look at trying to do that. So we go back into the conferencing. And then I can see support options, so I click on that. There should be a section there I can say essential, and then do it over 1 year. Happy days, here we go, configure, away you go. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for this. Maintenance services, there isn't any, as we know. And it's now going to say that the MCU's got 12 months, but the endpoints haven't. They got 3 months, 3 years still.
Oh yeah, I've got Steve on an audio call. This is why you couldn't try and call me from my DDI number. Yeah, so I'm having real bad trouble, and I really wanted to attend these webinars.
Oh, sorry. Sure. If you can't join us in a minute, we'll give you a call back at the end of it. Can you see, just not hear the audio, or?
I'll try and do that. Hold on.
All right. Okay, so going back to this, so you can see that I've got one element of it on 12 months support, but the rest are on 3 years. But I selected 12 months, so how comes that's not happened? So again, I go back to do design, and you'll also see
somewhere else.
that I've got another section under the maintenance services. Even though I said I don't want any, you'll see another section on here, which is messaging, meeting exchange via video. Right, okay, so that's where this is, coverage and terms, and then you'll see some more support options. When this does this in a second, there we go, and you can see that these are set for 3 years, so I'll do it for 1 year.
Should see them on Friday.
Right, and support and upgrades, and there is no option not to have upgrades on this, so you have to have upgrades. You can see down the bottom you've got preferred, and in both cases you've got all the different parts and on-site. So again, I'll configure this. And that should take us through now, and that should give us 12 months of essential support on Scopio. Now, we do get quite a few queries where people have tried to design things of this nature, but it's ended up with 3 years, and they're going, well, is that all I can have? No, you can have 12 months, but you are forced to have the upgrade section of it. So in terms of my design, I'm quite happy. I've got one endpoint, 6105 endpoint. I've got 2 power supply cables, and I've got a 4300 user endpoint on that. So I'll go into the pricing report section. Now, this is where I take the APL and create a pounds or APL if I want that as well, which I will do in this case because I'm going to add a promo. And what I will have to do is I will have to select a reseller as well, whereas you guys won't need to do that because you're already logging on. Stuart, for example, as in Connect, then you only have the ability to see Connects, and that's it. But obviously I can do designs for anybody, so I need to choose who that is. Now, I don't know if you saw that. It said validating at the top. Quote validation successful. Now, it all says that for me because I haven't actually selected who the business partner is yet. I'm just going to wait for that to appear. That's it. And what I'll do is I'll go back to the very top. This validation, what it is doing is it is checking that you have got your JSD if you said you have. So if you haven't, on that particular subject, it will then give you a load of reports which you must look at, because when it comes to placing an order, Avaya will reject it if you try and place an order on something you haven't got. So I'll go down to the BP here, and I'll just type generic. I'll do this as an authorized reseller, and then update it. So what that will do now is it's now assigned that to a reseller, and it'll then go and check that quote validity again against that particular reseller. In this case, it's generic, and I haven't actually put JSD on it, so it won't go and check. Well, it should come back happy, let's put it that way. There we go, quote validation successful, and it's generic authorized reseller. So again, I can skip past the sections in the middle unless I want to check to see if there is a discount. Now, that used to say check for promotions. It now says check for automated discounts. So we select that box. This is how I'm attaching a promotion now to this. So I'm not going to accept the fact it's normal discount. I'm going to say, right, is it that one via video now offering discount band 2, or is it a network phone and video now solution? It's going to give you the best one it possibly can. But again, as part of the validation that the salesperson will do, they will actually register the opportunity in Salesforce, and they will then say, right, this design, in order to get that discount, will then will actually produce the discount for you. Now, what you can do, you can see that there's a link that says promotion details. If I click on that link, it will then take you straight to the video now section within Avaya, and they'll then be able to bring up the offer definitions that you can download and have a look. So I'll just go back to the automated discount section. I'm saying, right, I'm happy with that. I'll have $4,000. I've read the offer def, and it is one that's for a new system. It's going to replace an old one, and then I'll apply that discount. And then we'll just wait for a second for that to do that. I can't say what I usually call this because it's been recorded. Okay.
Yeah, we can just use POS, can't we?
Yeah. Okay. There we go. So it's actually done the design now. What it does also tell you is a bit of a description now, which is quite cool in so much that it tells you what the actual discount is available to, and I've highlighted that particular bit on your screen there. So it offers via Connect authorized partners, so you have to be authorized in order to sell this in the first place. The Scopia video solution is sold to either installed base or net new customers for upgrades, expansions, or in this case replacement. So in most of the cases we can use a video one. Now in terms of when we get to Avaya Enterprise, because that's where I tend to spend most of my life, we have two offerings. We have a new one for new designs, and we also have one for upgrading as well. So in most cases you can apply some form of discount. So then I'll skip past the bottom to the bottom section. Now discounts, Avaya work in dollars, so any discounts are going to be in dollars. So you want to see the APL, which is the RRP price list, and then you want to see what your buy price is in dollars. Now this reseller works in UK, so it's in pounds as well. So I need to see pounds at the same as well as dollars. So I'll do, yep, get me that discount and download it, and then I'll trot off and go and get the quote for me.
Eventually.
And we'll wait for that to appear. This can take a while if you've got lots of sites. Now, normally I would do save and save as, but I'll just do open on this case, and then you can see what the Excel looks like. I'll just do the enable editing. So, luckily at the top, line 23 here is a description yet again of what the actual promotion that I've got is and when it expires as well, so bear that in mind too. So it's the Video Now 2 offer. I can see at the top section there that it's all to do with Scopia, and the bottom section is all to do with the support advantage that goes with it. But the key thing, I suppose, is the sections about the pricing at the bottom here. So you'll see that the first two columns are to do with dollars. The middle two columns are to do with pounds, and the ones on the right are to do with the promotion that we've applied here. Sorry, I got hiccups. So it's showing that typically I'm getting 7.55% off of this. So you might find that a general SPR or things of that nature will only produce you about 4 or 5%, which they typically do, quite low. So the promotions are really the first place to go to. But the promotion itself has not been applied. It's just there. It's showing you how much it's going to generate. So you could effectively do another design just like this, not apply the promotion itself, and then you have two side by side saying, right, if we take that one for SPR, what will we get? If we use a promotion, this is what we'll get. So this is showing that I'm getting $4,057 off of my buy from Westcon in dollars. So that would be the column L on this screen. So the 31,137 will then get reduced by 4,057. So it's about $27,000-ish. I then have to change that $27,000 via our FX rate. I can't remember what it is, can you? 1.42, something like that. But anyway, we can use our FX rate to be able to change that 27,000 to give us a new buy price. So the £21,000 will then get reduced with the FX rate from $27,000 down to whatever it is in pounds. So it will change your buy price. So that really is the end of this design. So I'll be quite happy with that. I think, Steve, this is a good time to open the bridge up for any questions. We have managed to finish a bit earlier, which is good. We like that. So we'll just open the bridge up now and then fire away. Where is the FX rate published? Our marketing team do send an email out from Robots to all business partners, which contains what the FX rate are for that month. We tend to do it at the beginning of the month. It's not around about the first, it's more or less the first Tuesday of every month. So it might be the 4th or 2nd or whatever. It tends to run for the whole of the month unless we have a drastic change, market rates or whatever that changes the FX rate. I've only seen it happen once where we had a massive change downwards. And there was 3 occasions during the month when the FX rate changed. But in terms of the discounts that Avaya produced, they're always fairly stable. It's just the conversion rate between that and pounds. Any more? Are both dollar and the price valid for 60 days? The dollar one is, the pound one isn't. So in effect, your design, when you do it and you upload it onto the Avaya tool to get an EGB number, that is valid for 60 days. The price in dollars is, because obviously they're an American company, that doesn't change, but the FX rate changes may affect things. And as I say, we reserve the right to be able to change those as and when needed. JSD, that doesn't affect the FX rate, so that's fine. Oh, by the way, the new one is 40320. 40320. That's the new password for JSD. Okay. Well, if there's no further questions, I think we can call it a day and let you have 15 minutes. For those of you who are joining the mid-market section, again, that starts at past, and that will be with my colleague Richard and Dave Seller, who will be taking you through those two. Okay.
Simon Richardson's asking about the password. I think he's probably getting confused. It's 40300 to 40320.
Okay, 40320 is the new one that started as of Monday this week.
No, Steve, it wasn't that I was asking. In the past, when the passwords changed, a locked file had to be reprocessed. Is that still the case? If I uploaded something last Friday, password changed on Monday, and we process it today, do I have to reprocess it to get it on the new password, or can you process it?
No, we can still process so long as it hasn't expired over the 60 days. If you go into and change that design, then obviously it'll be orange instead of green. That'll be all the icons. Then you'll have to put the new password in, but it won't change the actual FX rate or anything, or your design of that nature.
Okay, all right. It's more about processing a design that was beyond that password date. Yeah. That's all. Okay. Cool.
No, that's all right. I've had that several times already.
Okay. Cheers.
So there we go. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Steve. Really good.
You're welcome. Ashley, you haven't got a mid-market. Oh, you haven't got one for the mid-market. It'll be the same bridge number, so just log back on the same credentials that you had before at like 25 past-ish, thereabouts. Thank you very much, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any ladies on the call as well. See you later. So with that, I'll terminate the meeting.